All right. My name is Roseblud. I'm a musician, poet, actor, but above all that, I'm a storyteller. So I would like to do what I feel like I do best and tell y'all a story. I had a little trouble deciding, but I narrowed it down to two. The first one being a an incident, I guess you could say, that started at a nude beach and ended up in a threesome. But I don't think I'm going to tell that story. the, the second story is about my first night in Madrid, and it's also a very entertaining story.
Do you have sex in it?
In the second story,
Yeah, either one of them.
I don't have sex in the second story, but it's trust me, it's an entertaining story. All right. So to start, the reason why I was in Madrid, this was 3 years ago. I was studying abroad, and essentially the program that I was studying abroad for, like, it was set for like all of June, but not June 1st, and I didn't know that. So I flew in a day early, and like I told like the teacher, the professor that I was gonna be there with, that I was there. And like I arrived at the airport, I'm looking around like what's going on, because there was supposed to be somebody like to greet us. And she's like freaking out, like, why are you there? Like, you're not supposed to get there till tomorrow. And so her freaking out kind of made me freak out, because I'm like, okay, well, like, I'm here now in a foreign country with a language that I can kind of speak, and I have no idea what to do. I have no idea where I'm gonna stay. Like, what the heck is going on? And like she calms me down. She's talking to me on the phone. She's like, okay, don't worry. We're actually like, I'm actually here already because like my husband lives here. So like, I'm just like, I'm with him. So I'm going to give you this address to like take a taxi to, like, and then we'll figure out where you're going to stay. So I get in the taxi, like the dude in the taxi is trying to like, make conversation. But once again, I do not speak enough Spanish for this. So like, he's like trying over Google Translate, and I'm saying things that are wildly inappropriate to try and make small talk. But besides the point, I get to where I need to go. My professor helps me out, and like she gets me set up in this hostel, right? And I don't know if you guys are familiar with what hostels are, but like it's like an open room hotel that you're sharing with people. And it's like I was a little nervous just off of that alone, but like luckily I was in my own room, right? And everything's good. I'm like, okay, I'm finally calmed down. It's probably like 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Crisis averted. Everything is fine, right? And I wear glasses. You can see it, but I was wearing my contacts, and I was gonna take them out to go to sleep, but then I realized that I left my contact fluid at home. So I'm like, oh damn, I really don't want to sleep in these. Like, it's a Sunday night, 10 p.m. I'm like, okay, I'm in this plaza. There's like a pharmacy or something nearby where I can go to like get myself some contact solution. So I go outside, and like I spend like maybe 25 minutes looking for like a pharmacy or some shit to get like, am I allowed to curse? Okay. Well, I look for a contact solution. And finally I find a pharmacy, but it's closed because it's 10 o'clock on a Sunday. And I'm walking back, and on the way back to the hostel, I see this dude. He's like, he looked a little shady, I'm not gonna lie, but I for the sake of like the adventure, because I'm like, I'm 19. The legal drinking age in Spain is 18. So like, I want to like try going clubbing or whatever. So this dude's like a promoter, and he's like, oh, there's this club, and like, I kind of understood what he was saying, but the language barrier plays an important role in the story. So he's like, yeah, there's this club, there's going to be music, there's going to be drinks, there's going to be girls, like, it's going to be great. I'm like, okay, bet, it's my first night here, might as well make the most of it. Like, I'm so down. So we're walking, like we're going on this stroll, and he's like trying to practice his English. I'm trying to practice my Spanish, and it's a very inefficient conversation. I think at one point he was like talking about like what kind of music he listened to, and he told me all the rappers that I reminded him of physically, because like as a black person talking to any foreign person, you're a basketball player, you're a rapper, like it is what it is. Yeah, so we're walking, we're making good conversation. I like this dude. He's, he seems trustworthy enough, right? And then all of a sudden, we got to make this turn down this like dark alleyway. And in my head now, I'm like, okay, okay, there are a couple ways this could go. Maybe but this dude seems trustworthy. I will walk down this dark alleyway. It's fine. It's fine. So we're walking down the alleyway, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, all right, we're here." And I'm like, "Okay, where are we?" He's like, "No, here." And like there's like this shuttered place. I'm like, "Okay," and like it just lifts up, and this like big bald white nigga. He's like, in Spanish. If I knew more Spanish, I could tell you exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, "Is he ready?" And I understood that, and I'm like, "Am I ready? Like, like what's going on here?" Yeah, exactly. Ready for what, right? And the dude, I think his name was like Sergio, the dude who was with me. He's like, yeah, he's ready. And so like he turns to me and he's like, "All right, so this is how it's gonna go. You're gonna pay 10 euros to get in. You get a free drink, and yeah, just have a good time. You got this." And I'm like, all right. So I walk into this place. It's dark, and like there's nobody there except for like 6 or 7 girls just like sitting on this like couch, all staring at me. But like they're not saying a word. They're just staring, like with this like hungry look in their eyes. And like I'm kind of like, okay, this is kind of weird, but it's Spain. I know they party kind of late over here, so maybe it's just like it's only 10, it's only 11 o'clock right now. Like they probably won't even get full until like 2 a.m. I'm like, all right, I'll get my drink. So I walk up to the bar, and the bartender's like, "What do you want?" And like I had never really been much of a drinker, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, you pick. And he's like, "Well, what do you mean you pick?" And I was like, I don't know what to get. He's like, "All right, sure." So he whips me up like a rum and coke or something. And while this is happening, I guess one of the girls from the couch like took the initiative and like walked up to me. And she's like on my shoulder, and she's like, "Oh, what, ¿cómo te llamas?" Like, all this, she's asking my name, and like, I'm trying my best to communicate. And she's like, "Oh, English?" And I was like, yes, please. And so she's asking me about where I'm from, like how old I am, like how I got here, blah blah blah. And like I'm telling the whole situation, whole story. I'm sitting down now. I'm feeling a bit more comfortable. I'm like, yeah, like it's really cool, blah blah blah. And she's like, "Oh, I noticed that you haven't touched your drink. Like, why is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's like I haven't really done this often, and I just kind of like wanted to wait till more people showed up and like to dance. Like I wanted to kind of like drink and like dance a bit." And she's like, she looks at me confused, and she's like, "Oh, no. The dance is all for you," and points to this pole in the middle of the room that I just completely missed. And and yeah. So like I'm starting to put the pieces together because I'm a little slow, but I'm not that slow. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's what's happening. And she's like, "Oh yeah, here." She like grabs my arm, she's like, buy me a drink. And I'm like, like at this point, the nigga was too stunned to speak. And so I'm kind of just like standing there, like I went with her to the bar, and she's like picking out a drink or whatever, and I'm still in my head doing the calculations, like where the fuck am I? Like what is going on? Like what am I gonna do? And then like I hear how much the drink is gonna cost, and like the bartender's like 50. I'm like 50. Is that 15? Is that 50? And like I was like Inglés, por favor. 50. And I was like, $50 for the drink. Actually, I think I'm gonna go. It was really great seeing you. And like this woman, like this like older woman, just walks out from like the back out of nowhere. She's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, I'm like, I left my wallet. I gotta go. And she's like, "Oh no, where are you going?" Like she starts like walking towards me, kind of like slowly, and I'm freaking out at this point. And like all the girls from like on the couch, they're all like staring at me, and they're kind of like they're laughing a little, but like not in like a like a oh, you know, this is just so whimsical, like laughing and kind of like you're prey and like you're trapped here. And I'm freaking the fuck out. So like I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. And I cleared it and like just ran all the way back to my hostel. And yeah, that was my first night in Madrid.